There are moments a man realizes he's become the monster he swore to destroy. For Sebastiano D'Amico, it happened the moment her tears fell. Silent, devastated, final. He'd taken what could never be returned, believing it was justice. But revenge, he learned too late, doesn't wash away with remorse. It stains. And some stains become obsessions. Some become fate. Please like, share, subscribe. The night Sebastiano discovered the truth, Rome burned cold. He stood in his private study, marble floors reflecting the firelight, holding a single photograph between his fingers. Serena Lombardi. 26. Beautiful in that effortless way that came from not trying. Dark hair that caught light like silk. Eyes that held depth, the kind that made men write poetry or commit sins. And according to the intelligence report spread across his mahogany desk, she was complicit in the greatest betrayal his family had ever suffered. Sebastiano's jaw tightened as he reread the document for the third time. Her father, Giovanni Lombardi, had spent 18 months systematically stealing from D'Amico operations. 40 million euros. Laundered through a network of shell companies and fraudulent art sales. The gallery, Serena's gallery, had been the centerpiece of the scheme. Invoices for paintings that never existed. Sales to buyers who weren't real. Her signature on every document. His brother Matteo's voice echoed from memory. Someone inside helped them, Seb, someone we trusted. Matteo had spent 2 years in legal hell, his reputation destroyed, their family's name dragged through courts and media alike. All because the Lombardis had framed him for their own crimes. And she had known. He had to have known. Sebastiano set down the photograph with careful precision, the kind of control that had built an empire and buried countless enemies. 28 years old, and he'd never let emotion dictate strategy. Never let anger cloud judgment. He'll know. Marco, he said quietly into the darkness. His second-in-command emerged from the shadows, loyal as a ghost. Boss. Find Serena Lombardi. Bring her to me. Marco hesitated, rare telling. The father and brother fled to Argentina yesterday. Our contacts say they're not coming back. The girl might be innocent. There's no such thing as innocent when it comes to family. Sebastiano's voice dropped to something deadly soft. Her father took everything from Matteo. His career. His reputation. 5 years of his life fighting charges that should have buried the Lombardis instead. What do you want me to tell her? Nothing. Just bring her. Marco nodded, recognizing the tone that meant the conversation was over. And when she asks why? Sebastiano picked up the photograph again, studying that beautiful lying face. Tell her Sebastiano D'Amico requests her presence. That should be reason enough. After Marco left, Sebastiano poured himself whiskey, 30-year-old single malt that tasted like smoke and regret. He stood at the window overlooking Rome, city lights spreading like stars, and made a decision. The Lombardis had taken from him. Had used his trust, exploited his connections, and left his brother broken. Now he would take from them everything. Serena Lombardi was arranging white lilies in her gallery when they came. The afternoon sun slanted through tall windows, painting everything gold. She loved this time of day, the quiet before evening viewings, when art breathed without audience and she could pretend the world was beautiful instead of complicated. She was humming something soft, water dripping from stem to vase when the door chimed. 2 men entered. Suits so black they seemed to absorb light. Expensive. Dangerous. Her hands stilled. Signorina Lombardi. The older one spoke, graying temples, eyes that had seen things that would break ordinary men. Please come with us. The lily slipped from her fingers. She caught it, thorns biting her palm. Excuse me. Sebastiano D'Amico requests your presence. The vase tilted. Water spread across marble in a slow, inevitable flood, lilies floating like tiny shipwrecks. That name. Everyone in Rome knew that name. The king who ruled the underworld with velvet-covered iron fists. The man politicians feared and priests prayed for. The D'Amico family controlled everything from shipping to banking, legitimate empire built on foundations no one dared examine too closely. But Serena had never met him. Never wanted to. Her father had always warned her, stay away from those people, Serena. We're honest. They're not. I don't know Signor D'Amico, she managed. He knows you. The younger guard moved closer, not threatening but inevitable. Please, Signorina. It would be better if you came willingly. Her mind raced. Am I being arrested? No. Kidnapped. A flicker of something. Amusement? Pity? Crossed the older man's face. Invited. With guards. Signor D'Amico is a cautious man. She looked around her gallery, the art she'd spent 3 years curating, the space that was supposed to be her dream realized. Her phone sat on the reception desk. He screamed someone might hear. If she ran, they'd catch her. He refused. What happens if I say no? The men exchanged glances. The older one stepped forward, voice gentling slightly. Signorina, my name is Marco. I've worked for Sebastiano D'Amico for 12 years. In that time I've seen him destroy empires and build kingdoms. I've never seen him request someone's presence personally. He paused. This is not an invitation you refuse. Fear tasted like copper. Is this about my father? That's between you and the boss. Her father. Who'd been acting strange for weeks. Who'd told her yesterday he was taking an extended vacation to South America. Who'd hugged her like he might never see her again. Oh God. I need to lock up the gallery. Already handled. Your assistant has been notified. They planned this. Every detail. She was trapped. May I at least get my bag? Marco nodded. Serena retrieved her purse with shaking hands, mind spinning through possibilities. Her father had always been secretive about business. She'd signed papers he'd asked her to sign, gallery invoices, transfer documents for art sales. Standard procedure. But what if it wasn't? What if honest meant something different than she'd believed? The drive through Rome felt surreal. Black Mercedes with tinted windows. Marco in front, younger guard beside her. No one spoke. They passed the Colosseum, Trevi Fountain, streets she'd walked 1,000 times that now felt foreign. The car climbed into the hills where old money lived behind high walls and ancient names. Finally, gates opened, wrought iron and security cameras, walls that could have defended medieval cities. The villa beyond took her breath away. Renaissance architecture married to modern security. Gardens that could have been Versailles. Marble fountains and manicured lawns that whispered old wealth, the kind that didn't need to announce itself. This wasn't just power. This was dynasty. The car stopped before massive doors. Marco opened her door, offering his hand like they were arriving at a gala instead of whatever this was. This way, Signorina. Inside was a museum of art and wealth. Corridors lined with paintings she recognized, Caravaggio, Artemisia, works that belonged in galleries, not private homes. Marble floors reflected frescoed ceilings. Chandeliers dripped crystal. Each step echoed like a countdown. Finally, they stopped before double doors, dark wood, carved with scenes of ancient Rome. Marco knocked twice. Entra. A voice from within. Controlled. Marco opened the doors, gestured her forward, then closed them behind her, leaving her alone. The study was all masculine elegance and controlled power. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked Rome, the entire city spread out like a kingdom. Mahogany desk. Leather chairs. Books that were actually read, not decoration. A fire crackled despite the warm evening, more atmosphere than necessity. And standing with his back to her, silhouette framed by dying sunlight, was Sebastiano D'Amico. Broad shoulders that filled his suit jacket perfectly. Tall, over 6 feet of controlled power. Dark hair slightly longer than fashion dictated, touching his collar. He stood absolutely still, hands in his pockets, radiating the kind of authority that made world leaders nervous. When he turned, Serena's breath stopped. Devastatingly handsome didn't begin to cover it. Sharp jawline that could have been carved by Michelangelo. Cheekbones that created shadows. Nose that had been broken once and healed slightly crooked, somehow making him more compelling. Lips that looked cruel until they curved, which they didn't now. But his eyes. Dark as espresso and twice as intense. They assessed her the way art collectors assessed masterpieces, cataloging every detail, measuring value, deciding worth. She felt naked under that gaze. Signorina Lombardi. His voice matched everything else. Smooth, controlled, expensive. Thank you for coming. As if she'd had a choice. He gestured to a leather chair facing his desk. Please. Sit. It wasn't a request. Serena forced her legs to move, grateful the chair caught her before they gave out. He remained standing, circling slowly until he leaned against his desk, arms crossed, looking down at her. Power play. She recognized it from business meetings, from men who thought position equaled dominance. But this was different. This was a predator studying prey. "You know why you're here," he said. "No, actually I don't." One dark eyebrow rose. Defiant. Interesting. He tilted his head. "Your father didn't tell you he was leaving?" Her stomach dropped. "Leaving for vacation. For Argentina. Permanently. With your brother and 40 million euros that belong to me." The room tilted. "That's impossible." "Is it?" He moved to the desk, pulled out a folder, dropped it in front of her. "Open it." Her hands shook as she obeyed. Inside were documents, financial transfers, banking records, invoices from her gallery. All bearing her signature. "I signed gallery paperwork," she whispered. "Standard sales. For art that never existed." He leaned down, bracing his hands on the armrests of her chair, caging her. His cologne, sandalwood and something darker, filled her senses. "Paintings sold to buyers who aren't real. Money laundered through your accounts. Your signature on every single transaction. My father handles the business side. Your father used you." His face was inches from hers now, close enough she could see gold flecks in those dark eyes. "He and your brother spent 18 months stealing from my family. They used your gallery, your reputation, your innocence." His voice dropped to something deadly soft. "And they used you to frame my brother for crimes they committed." Serena's mind reeled. Her father. Her brother. Using her. "I didn't know." "Ignorance isn't innocence, Bella. It's just another kind of guilt." She jerked back against the chair, but there was nowhere to go. "If I'm guilty, call the police." "The police." He laughed, bitter, dark. "The police work for whoever pays them best. And in Rome, that's me." He straightened, giving her space that somehow felt worse than proximity. "No, Serena. I'm not interested in legal justice. That takes years. Costs millions. Ends with lawyers getting rich and perpetrators getting comfortable sentences. Then what do you want?" He pulled out his phone, swiped, held it in front of her face. A photograph. Her father and brother boarding a private jet. Yesterday's date stamp. Luggage being loaded. No return tickets. "They left you," he said quietly. "Took my money and abandoned you to face the consequences." The image blurred as tears burned her eyes. Well, her father wouldn't. But he had. The strange goodbye. The sudden vacation. The way he'd looked at her like he was memorizing her face. He'd known. They'd both known. And they'd left her behind. "Bastards," Sebastiano murmured, and for a moment something almost like sympathy flickered across his features. "At least we agree on something." She couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. Her entire life had been a lie. "Why am I here?" she managed through the tightness in her throat. He returned to his desk, poured 2 glasses of whiskey, offered her one. She took it with numb fingers. "Your father took something from my family. Something irreplaceable." He sipped his drink, eyes never leaving hers. "My brother Matteo spent 2 years fighting fraud charges. Lost his position in the company. Lost his reputation. Nearly lost his freedom." His voice hardened. "All because the Lombardis needed a scapegoat for their crimes. I'm sorry. Sorry." The word cracked like a whip. "Sorry is what you say when you accidentally step on someone's foot. Your family destroyed my brother's life." "I didn't." "You didn't know." "Yes, I heard you." He set down his glass with careful precision. "But here's what I know, Serena. In my world, family is everything. When someone hurts mine, they answer for it. Blood answers for blood." Terror crystallized in her veins. "You're going to kill me." "Kill you?" He looked genuinely surprised. "No, Bella. Death is mercy. It's quick. Final." He moved around the desk, approaching slowly. "I want something much more permanent." "What?" He stopped in front of her chair, looking down with an expression that mixed hunger and something darker. "Everything they took from me, I'm going to take from you. I have nothing. You have yourself." His fingers caught her chin, tilting her face up. "And that, Serena Lombardi, is more valuable than 40 million euros." The way he touched her, possessive, inevitable, made her skin prickle with warning. "I don't understand." His thumb brushed her lower lip, featherlight. You will. She was given a room in the East Wing. Calling it a room was like calling the Sistine Chapel a church. Technically accurate, wildly insufficient. Silk wallpaper. Antique furniture. A bed that could sleep four with sheets that probably cost more than her monthly rent. Marble bathroom with a tub deep enough to drown in. Walk-in closet filled with clothes in her exact size. Designers she'd only window shopped. A beautiful prison. Serena tried the door. Locked. Tried the windows. Alarmed. Tried her phone. Confiscated. She sank onto the bed, expensive silk cool against her skin, and let the tears come. Silent, devastating, the kind that shook her entire body. Her father had used her. Her brother had abandoned her. And now she was trapped in a monster's castle, payment for sins she didn't commit. A soft knock interrupted her breakdown. The door opened, unlocked from outside, and a woman entered. 50s, elegant in simple black dress, kind eyes that had seen too much. Signorina Lombardi. I'm Lucia. I manage the household. She set down a tray, tea, small sandwiches, pastries. You should eat. I'm not hungry. Nevertheless. Lucia poured tea with practiced ease. Signor D'Amico has requested you join him for dinner at 8. I'll help you prepare. I'm not going anywhere with him. Lucia's expression softened with something like pity. My dear, you're in his home. Under his protection. Whether you sit across from him at dinner or alone in this room, you're still exactly where he wants you. She offered the teacup. The question is whether you face it with dignity or defiance. What's the difference? Dignity you can keep. Defiance he'll find charming. Lucia smiled sadly. Either way you'll go to dinner. Better to choose how. At 7:30 Lucia returned with a dress. Midnight blue silk that looked like it cost more than Serena's car. Elegant. Sophisticated. The neckline modest but the fit devastating. I'm not wearing that. Then you'll go in what you're wearing. Lucia laid it on the bed. But he chose this specifically for you. Rejecting it sends a message. Good. Is it? Lucia's voice gentled. My dear, I've worked for Sebastiano D'Amico for 8 years. I've seen him negotiate with presidents and destroy enemies without raising his voice. I've never seen him choose clothing for a woman. Never seen him request someone's presence for dinner. She touched Serena's shoulder. Whatever you think this is, it's not simple. He wants revenge. He wants you. The words hung in the air, terrifying. Same thing, Serena whispered. Is it? She wore the dress. Hated herself for it. But Lucia was right. Defiance required choosing battles. When she looked in the mirror, she barely recognized herself. The dress transformed her from gallery owner to something else. Someone who belonged in this world of wealth and danger. Someone who could be Sebastiano D'Amico's. The thought made her sick in something else she refused to name. Guards escorted her through corridors that felt longer than before, each step echoing like a countdown. Finally, they reached a dining room that could seat 20 but was set intimately for 2. Candles. Crystal. Art on the walls worth more than most homes. And Sebastiano standing by the window in a fresh suit, charcoal gray, no tie, collar open. He turned as she entered and something flashed in his eyes. Hunger. Possession. Something almost tender before control slammed back. Serena. Her name in his voice sounded like a claim. You look beautiful. She didn't respond. He pulled out her chair, surprising courtesy from a captor. She sat stiffly, hyper-aware of his proximity as he settled across from her. Wine was poured by silent staff who disappeared like ghosts. You're angry, he observed. You're perceptive. A hint of a smile. I prefer honest fury to false sweetness. Then you must be thrilled. He raised his glass. To honesty. May it be the foundation of our arrangement. We don't have an arrangement. You have a prisoner. Not a prisoner, Bella. A guest. Guests can leave. Can they? He sipped his wine, studying her over the rim. And where would you go? Back to your apartment that your father hasn't paid rent on in 3 months? Your gallery with a mortgage you can't cover? Your life that was built on lies. Each word landed like a blade. You're a bastard. Yes. No shame in it. But an honest one. I'm not pretending this is anything but what it is. And what is it? Retribution. He set down his glass. Your family took from mine. Now I'm taking from yours. I'm not my family. You're all I have left of them. His eyes bored into hers. And you're worth more than 40 million euros or 2 years of my brother's suffering. You're the daughter. The innocent. The one they loved enough to shelter. Bitterness crept into his voice. The one they abandoned to protect themselves. Stop. Why? Because it hurts. He leaned forward. Good. Pain means you're still alive. Still capable of feeling. That's what I need. For what? For this to mean something. Dinner arrived. Courses prepared by a chef who clearly understood art as much as cooking. She picked at her food, stomach too tight for appetite. Sebastiano ate with the same control he did everything. Measured, elegant, never rushed. Tell me about your gallery, he said suddenly. She blinked. What? Your gallery. You've run it for 3 years. Why art? Why do you care? Because I own it now. Along with everything else attached to your name. He cut his steak with precision. Answer the question. Anger flared hot and welcome. You own nothing. Your mortgage is in default. Your creditors are calling. Your investors pulling out. He met her eyes. I bought all of it this afternoon. Every debt, every contract, every piece of paper with the Lombardy name. His smile was cold. So yes, Serena. I own it. The question is whether you tell me about it willingly or I discover it myself. Trapped. Always trapped. Art made sense when nothing else did, she heard herself say. My mother died when I was 16. My father buried himself in work. My brother left for university. I was alone in a house full of memories and silence. She swirled her wine. The gallery down the street had a Caravaggio exhibit. I went because it was somewhere to be that wasn't home. He listened without interrupting. Unusual, unsettling. There was this painting, Judith beheading Holofernes. Brutal. Violent. A woman killing a man who'd oppressed her people. Serena's voice dropped. Everyone else saw the violence. I saw the determination in Judith's face. The necessity. The courage to do what survival demanded. So you fell in love with art about vengeance. I fell in love with art about women who refused to be victims. Silence stretched between them, weighted with meaning. And now, he asked softly. Are you a victim or something else? I'm a prisoner pretending I have choices. You have choices. He stood, moving around the table with predatory grace. You can fight me. Hate me. Make every moment a battle. He stopped beside her chair, hand settling on the backrest. Or you can accept the inevitable and make this easier on yourself. Never. He leaned down, breath warm against her ear. We'll see. After dinner he walked her back to her room. Silent corridors. Echoing footsteps. The weight of his presence beside her making her hyper-aware of every breath. At her door he stopped. Tomorrow we'll discuss the terms of your stay. Terms make it sound negotiable. Some things are. His fingers caught a strand of her hair, rubbing the silk between his fingers. Others aren't. Like what? Like the fact that you're mine now. He released her hair, stepped back. Sleep well, Serena. Tomorrow everything changes. She didn't sleep. Tomorrow everything changes. What did that mean? Dawn brought Lucia with breakfast and another dress. This one emerald green, elegant, with a neckline that revealed just enough to be dangerous. He requested this specifically, Lucia said. He seems to enjoy dressing me like a doll. He enjoys seeing you in colors that bring out your eyes. Lucia smiled gently. If you were a doll, he'd choose something that pleased him. These please you or would in different circumstances. Serena looked at the dress. It was beautiful. The kind she'd admired in windows but never bought. Hating that Lucia was right made it worse. She dressed mechanically, let Lucia arrange her hair, applied minimal makeup because appearing broken would be giving him what he wanted. When she looked in the mirror, the woman staring back was a stranger. Beautiful. Elegant. Expensive. Sebastiano waited in his study. He stood as she entered, and that flash in his eyes, possessive hunger barely controlled, made her skin prickle with awareness. Perfect, he murmured. She ignored the compliment. You wanted to discuss terms? Direct. I like that. He gestured to the chairs by the fireplace. Less formal than his desk, somehow more intimate. Sit. She chose the chair farthest from him. He smiled like he'd expected it. Let's be clear about the situation, he began. Your father and brother stole from me. They're gone. You remain in my world that makes you responsible for their debts. That's not how the real world works. This is the real world, Bella. My world. And here, family answers for family. I'm not responsible for their crimes. Legally? No. He leaned back, studying her. Morally? Debatable. Practically? His smile turned sharp. Irrelevant. You're here. They're not. That's reality. So what? You keep me prisoner until they return the money. They're never returning the money. Or returning, period. He pulled an envelope from his jacket, handed it to her. This arrived this morning. Her hands shook as she opened it. A single piece of paper. Her father's handwriting. Serena, I'm sorry. By the time you read this, you'll know what I've done. What we've done. You deserved better than being left to face this alone, but there was no other way. D'Amico will come for payment. Let him have the gallery, the accounts, whatever he wants. Don't fight him. Men like that you can't win. I loved you more than I showed. That's my greatest failure. Forgive me, Papa. The paper crumpled in her fist. Let him have whatever he wants. Like she was just another asset to liquidate. Touching, Sebastiano said dryly. Shut up. Angry at him or me? Both. She threw the letter at him. You're both bastards who think you can take whatever you want. He caught the paper, smoothed it. The difference is I'm honest about it. He set it aside. Your father pretended to love you while using you. I'm not pretending anything. How noble. It's not about nobility. It's about terms. He stood, moved to the window. Here's what's going to happen. You stay here under my protection until I decide the debt is paid. And how long is that? As long as I want. That's not a term. That's slavery. He turned, expression hardening. Slavery implies I'm taking without giving. I'm offering you security, luxury, safety. In a cage. In a palace. He crossed back to her. You'll want for nothing. Anything you desire, clothes, art, books, education, it's yours. Except freedom. Freedom is overrated. It's what people claim when they have nothing else. She stood, anger giving her courage. You're insane. I'm practical. He caught her wrist, not hard but inescapable. Your father left you with nothing. No money. No future. Creditors circling. Do you think you'd last a week out there before someone else decided to collect on Lombardy debts? I'd manage. You'd be eaten alive. His grip tightened slightly. Here you're protected. Federal clothed. Safe from everyone except me. And you're what? Better than the alternative. I'm the only alternative. He pulled her closer, close enough she had to tilt her head back to meet his eyes. I could have left you to the wolves. Instead, I brought you somewhere you can't be touched. By anyone but you. Exactly. The honesty of it, the absolute certainty stole her breath. I hate you. I know. His thumb brushed her racing pulse. But you'll thank me eventually. Never. We'll see. He released her, stepping back. You have the run of the estate. Gardens, library, anywhere except locked rooms. Guards are for your protection, not imprisonment. I'm not free to leave. No. No apology in it. But you're free to be comfortable while you're here. And how long is here? His smile was dangerous, beautiful. That depends entirely on you. The days blurred into a strange, surreal routine. Breakfast on the terrace overlooking gardens that could have been Eden. Sebastiano appeared sometimes, other times she ate alone. When he joined her, he asked questions. About art. About her education. About the mother she'd lost and the childhood she'd had. Never about her father or brother. Never about revenge. She answered because silence felt like losing somehow. And because despite everything he listened, truly listened, in a way no one had in years. Afternoons she spent in the library. Room after room of books in languages she recognized and some she didn't. First editions. Rare manuscripts. A collection that belonged in universities. She lost herself in Dante, Petrarch, modern poetry that spoke to souls that ached. Once she found him there at midnight. She'd come down unable to sleep, seeking comfort in words. He sat by the fireplace, reading. Tie loosened, jacket discarded, looking almost human. Couldn't sleep? He asked without looking up. She nearly left. But the book in her hand, Neruda's love poetry, felt like armor. The bed's too soft. I can have it changed. That's not the problem. He glanced up then. What is? Everything. She moved to the shelves, pretending to browse. This place. This situation. You. Ah. He set down his book. And what specifically about me keeps you awake? The way you look at me. The way you speak as if we're equals when we're not. The way I'm starting to forget you're my captor. Your arrogance, she said instead. He smiled. Honesty. Good. He gestured to the chair across from him. Sit. I'd rather. Please. The please surprised her enough that she obeyed. They sat in silence for a moment, fire crackling, two people in a room full of words neither could say. You read Neruda, he observed, noting her book. You sound surprised. I thought you'd prefer something lighter. You thought I was shallow. I thought you were naive. There's a difference. He leaned forward. Shallow can't be fixed. Naive is just innocence waiting to shatter. Is that what you're doing? Shattering me. Would you believe me if I said I didn't want to? No. His smile was sad, beautiful, dangerous. Smart girl. She should have left then. Should have recognized the intimacy forming as dangerous as anything else. But something kept her in that chair. Something that whispered this mattered, this moment when he looked at her like she was human instead of collateral. Why Neruda? He asked. Because he understood longing. She opened the book randomly, read, I love you without knowing how or when or from where. I love you simply without problems or pride. She looked up. He made love sound inevitable. Like fate instead of choice. You don't believe in fate? I believe we make choices and call them destiny to feel better about consequences. Cynical. Realistic. She closed the book. If fate existed, mine wouldn't have led here. No. He stood, moved to her chair. Maybe this is exactly where fate wanted you. In a cage. With me. He touched her face, gentle, devastating. Maybe everything that happened, your father's betrayal, my revenge, this moment, maybe it was all leading here. To us. There is no us. Not yet. His thumb brushed her cheekbone. But there will be. She jerked away, standing. You're delusional. Am I? He didn't follow, just watched with dark, knowing eyes. Then why are you still here? Why didn't you leave the moment I gave you opportunity? You haven't. The library door's unlocked. The gardens have a gate. Guards are instructed to watch, not stop. His smile turned dangerous. You could run, Serena. Anytime. But you don't. Because where would I go? Because you're right, I have nothing. Because part of me is starting to wonder what it would be like to stop fighting. I'm tired, she said instead. Then sleep. He returned to his chair, his book. Dream of freedom or fate or whatever lets you rest. He looked up, expression unreadable. But know that when you wake you'll still be here. Still mine. Still wondering why that doesn't terrify you as much as it should. She left before she could answer. But his words followed her to bed, into dreams, into the hollow space in her chest that felt less empty when he was near. And that terrified her most of all. 2 weeks into captivity, jealousy struck like lightning. Marco came to lunch with papers requiring Sebastiano's signature. With him came a younger associate, Dante. Mid-20s, handsome in an easy way that felt safe compared to Sebastiano's dangerous beauty. Signorina Lombardi, Dante said with genuine warmth as he was introduced. Marco mentioned you ran an art gallery. My sister's opening one in Florence. She'd love your advice. Serena smiled, first real smile in weeks. What kind of gallery? Contemporary Italian artists. She's passionate but inexperienced. She's not available for consultation. Sebastiano's voice cut through like a blade. Everyone froze. Serena looked at him. His expression remained calm, but his eyes burned with something dark and possessive. Dante cleared his throat. I didn't mean to overstep. You did. Sebastiano signed the papers with sharp, precise movements. Take these and go. After they left, silence hung heavy. That was rude, Serena said finally. That was necessary. Why? Afraid I'll escape through art world connections. He set down his pen with careful control. I'm not afraid of you escaping. He stood, circling the table. I'm afraid of any man looking at you the way he just did. Her breath caught. You don't own me. Don't I? He gripped the arms of her chair, leaning down until his face was inches from hers. You are close, I provide. Sleep in my home. Eat at my table. Exist because I allow it. His voice dropped to something deadly soft. Every breath you take is mine, Bella. The sooner you accept that, the easier this becomes. This. She refused to flinch. You mean my captivity? I mean your future. The certainty in his voice, absolute, inevitable, made her pulse race with something that wasn't entirely fear. I'm not yours. Keep telling yourself that. His lips brushed her ear. See how long you believe it. That night she tried the doors again. All unlocked just as he'd said. She made it to the garden gate before stopping. Beyond lay Rome. Freedom. Her old life. Her empty apartment. Her defaulted gallery. Creditors who'd take everything. And no one to call. No one who'd help. Her father's last words echoed. Let him have whatever he wants. She stood at that gate for 20 minutes, freedom a step away. Then turned back. Sebastiano waited on the terrace, watching. He didn't speak as she approached, didn't gloat. Just held out his hand. She stared at it, an offering, a trap, a choice that wasn't one. Why? She whispered. Because you know. His hand remained steady. You know that out there you're alone. In here you're protected. In here I'm yours. Yes. No apology. But mine means safe. Mine means fed, clothed, valued. His fingers curled slightly. Mine means no one touches you. Threatens you. Uses you. Except you. I haven't touched you beyond necessity. Yet. His smile was dark promise. Yet. She took his hand. Hated herself for it. But the alternative, stepping into nothing, terrified her more than staying. He pulled her close, hand settling at the small of her back, and walked her inside. Smart girl, he murmured. Days turned to weeks. Spring bloomed into early summer. Gardens exploded with color. Rome shimmered with heat and history. And Serena stopped counting days of captivity and started noticing other things. The way Sebastiano took his coffee. Black, no sugar, too hot to drink, but he did anyway. How he stood at windows when thinking, hands in pockets, shoulders tight with invisible weight. The scar on his left hand, thin, white, barely visible. When she asked, he said, knife fight when I was 16. Learned to be faster after that. He worked constantly. Meetings in his study. Phone calls in 3 languages. Running an empire that stretched continents. But he made time for meals with her. Library evenings. Garden walks where they didn't speak, just existed in shared silence. Once she found him playing piano, Chopin, melancholy and beautiful. He stopped when he noticed her. I didn't know you played, she said. My mother insisted. Said men who only know violence become monsters. His fingers traced the keys without pressing. She died believing she'd saved me from that. Did she? He looked at her then, something raw in his eyes. What do you think? She thought about the gentleness of his touch. The care he took with her. The violence he held in check. I think you're more complicated than monster. Careful, Serena. That sounds almost kind. Don't let it go to your head. But something shifted between them in that moment. Acknowledgement. Understanding. The beginning of something neither wanted to name. The shift became undeniable the night of the charity gala. Sebastiano had business to attend. Some event for hospital funding that required appearance. You'll accompany me, he announced over breakfast. I will not. It wasn't a question. I'm not going to parade as your. She stopped, unsure how to finish. Property. Prisoner. Date. As my what? He set down his espresso, giving her full attention. Whatever this is. This is you wearing a beautiful dress, attending a gala where we'll eat overpriced food and pretend to care about small talk. He leaned back. Unless you'd prefer to stay home alone? The thought of an evening without him surprised her with its bleakness. Fine, she bit out. But I'm not pretending we're together. We are together. You know what I mean. His smile was knowing, infuriating. Wear the red dress. It's hanging in your closet. The red dress was devastating. Crimson silk that clung perfectly, neckline that suggested without revealing, slit that showed leg when she moved. Designer. Expensive. Made for her body specifically. When had he measured her? Lucia styled her hair in soft waves, makeup elegant and minimal. Diamond earrings appeared, on loan from the D'Amico collection, Lucia said. When Serena looked in the mirror, she saw someone who belonged in Sebastiano's world. That terrified and thrilled in equal measure. He waited at the base of the stairs. Black tuxedo that fit like sin. Hair swept back. Looking like old money and new danger combined. When he saw her he went absolutely still. Then slowly, deliberately smiled. Bellissima. He offered his hand. You'll be the most beautiful woman there. Flattery. Fact. He lifted her hand, pressed lips to her knuckles. But don't let it go to your head. Throwing her own words back. The intimacy of it warmed something in her chest. The gala was exactly as promised. Rome's elite pretending wealth equaled worth. Politicians. Old families. New money trying to buy respectability. And Sebastiano moved through it all with easy authority, her hand tucked in his elbow like she belonged there. People stared. Whispered. Who is she? D'Amico never brings anyone. She must be special. He introduced her simply, Serena Lombardi. She's with me. Those 3 words, she's with me, carried more weight than any title. They danced. His hand at her waist, hers on his shoulder, moving in perfect rhythm to music that felt designed for this moment. You're good at this, she murmured. At what? Making people believe we're real. Who says we're not? His thumb traced circles on her waist. We eat together. Share space. You know my coffee preference. I know you read poetry at midnight. He pulled her closer. That's more real than most marriages. We're not married. Not yet. Her foot caught. He steadied her immediately. That's not funny. I'm not joking. Before she could respond, a voice interrupted. Sebastiano. Still breaking hearts, I see. A woman approached, stunning, confident, draped in diamonds. Isabella. Sebastiano's expression cooled. Enjoying the evening? More now. Isabella's gaze raked over Serena with thinly veiled disdain. And who's this? Your latest acquisition. Careful, Sebastiano said softly. Dangerously. But Isabella laughed. Oh, come now. We both know your type. Beautiful. Temporary. Interchangeable. She touched his arm. Remember when I was the one on your arm? Vaguely. He removed her hand. And then I remembered I prefer quality over convenience. Isabella's smile went sharp. Quality. She looks terrified. She looks bored. Sebastiano turned to Serena. Aren't you, Bella? Serena understood the game. Beth. He smiled, sweet, cutting. Devastatingly. Is she always this desperate, or is tonight special? Sebastiano's eyes lit with something like pride. Isabella's expression curdled. You little. Careful. Sebastiano's voice dropped to ice. Insult her again and you'll find your family's permits mysteriously denied. Your father's contracts cancelled. Your comfortable life significantly less comfortable. Isabella paled. You wouldn't. Try me. She left quickly. Serena exhaled. That was brilliant. He pulled her close, swaying to music that had shifted to something slower. You defended yourself. I defended us. The word hung between them. Yes, he said quietly. You did. The ride home was silent, charged. His hand rested on her knee, possessive, burning through silk. Inside the villa he walked her to her door. Thank you, he said, for tonight. For playing the part? For being you. His hand cupped her face. For standing beside me when you could have made a scene. Left me embarrassed. Why didn't I? You tell me. Because somewhere between captivity and dinner conversations, between poetry and piano music, between defiance and surrender, something had shifted. She didn't hate him anymore. Wasn't sure what she felt, but it wasn't hate. I should go in, she whispered. Yes. But he didn't move. Neither did she. The space between them felt electric, inevitable. He leaned in slowly, giving her time to retreat. He didn't. His lips brushed hers, soft, questioning, devastating. She should have pulled away. Should have remembered he was her captor. This was wrong. She was losing herself. Instead she kissed him back. His hand slid into her hair, deepening the kiss. She melted against him, body recognizing what her mind refused. Him. Inevitable. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, his forehead rested against hers. Serena, he whispered. Bro. Don't. She stepped back. Don't make this more than it is. It's already more. His thumb brushed her swollen lips. You know it is. It's Stockholm Syndrome. Proximity. Loneliness. It's fate. He pulled her back. It's everything I didn't plan but can't deny. His mouth found hers again, hungry, claiming. Tell me you don't feel it. She couldn't. Because she did feel it. This pull. This need. This terrifying certainty that he was right. They were inevitable. I need time, she managed. How much? I don't know. His jaw clenched. Tonight then. Take tonight. Tomorrow. Tomorrow what? His eyes burned into hers. Tomorrow I stop pretending this is just revenge. He kissed her once more, deep, devastating, a promise and a threat, then left her at her door. Trembling. Wanting. Terrified. She didn't sleep. Paced her room like a caged animal, which she supposed she was. But cages came in different forms. Some had bars. Some had silk sheets and devastating men who kissed like they meant to own you. At 2 a.m. she gave up pretending. Left her room, wandered halls she knew by heart now. Found herself outside his door. Raised her hand to knock. It opened before she could. Sebastiano stood there, shirtless, hair disheveled, looking like sin and salvation combined. Couldn't sleep? He asked quietly. No. Me either. He stepped aside. Come in or walk away, Serena. But choose. Choose. As if she'd had choices since arriving. As if this wasn't the only possible outcome from the moment he'd looked at her with those dark, hungry eyes. As if fate wasn't a thing and they weren't already written. She stepped inside. The door closed behind her with soft, final click. Serena. Don't talk. She moved to him. If we talk, I'll think. If I think, I'll leave. And you don't want to leave. I hate that I don't want to leave. His hands framed her face. I hate that I need you here. Then we're even. No, Bella. We're doomed. He kissed her then, no gentleness, no pretense. Pure need. She kissed back with equal hunger, hands exploring bare skin, feeling his heart thunder beneath her palm. Close fell away. Hers. Until nothing separated them but breath and want. He lifted her, carried her to his bed. Laid her down like she was precious. Last chance, he whispered against her throat. Tell me to stop. Don't stop. Serena. I'm sure. She pulled him down. I choose this. I choose you. Something shifted in his expression. Triumph. Tenderness. Terror. You understand what this means? His fingers traced her collarbone. After tonight you're mine. Completely. No pretending. No going back. I know. Say it. I'm yours. The words broke something in him. Or built something. He wasn't sure. What she knew. His hands trembled as they explored. His breathing stuttered when she touched him back. His eyes never left hers, watching every reaction like she was art he needed to memorize. Have you? He started. No. He went absolutely still. Serena. I know what I'm giving you. She cupped his face. I'm choosing to give it. Why? Because you're right. This is inevitable. Fate. Whatever we want to call it. She pulled him closer. Because I'm tired of fighting what I feel. And what do you feel? Too much. Too fast. Too real. Yours, she whispered. It was permission and surrender and choice all at once. He kissed her deeply, hands gentle despite the need she felt trembling through him. This will hurt, he murmured against her lips. I know. I'll try to make it good. I know. After tonight nothing's the same. I know. She wrapped her arms around him. Stop talking and show me. So he did. Slow. Careful. Watching her face for every wince, every gasp. Murmuring in Italian, words she didn't understand but felt in her bones. When pain made her tense, he stilled completely. Kissed her tears. Whispered reassurances. Breathe, Bella. Have you? You're safe. You're mine. I'll take care of you. Always. And when it was over, when he collapsed beside her and pulled her against his chest, his heart thundered against her ear like war drums. Mine, he whispered into her hair. Reverent. Destroyed. Forever mine. She wanted to respond. Wanted to say something that made this less terrifying. But words died in her throat. Because forever suddenly felt less like promise and more like prison sentence. Even lined with silk and wanton choice she'd made freely. Dawn came too soon. She woke alone, body aching, evidence of last night marking the sheets. Reality crashed down. She'd given herself to her captor. The man who'd stolen her freedom. Who'd taken her as revenge. Yes, she'd chosen it. But what kind of choice existed in captivity? The door opened. Sebastiano entered with a tray, coffee, pastries, fruit. Still shirtless. Looking devastating and tender and everything dangerous. Good morning. He set the tray beside the bed, leaning down to kiss her forehead. She flinched. He froze. Serena. Don't touch me. Confusion flickered across his face. What's wrong? What's wrong? She sat up, clutching the sheet. You took my virginity as revenge. No. He reached for her. That's not what last night was. Yes, it was. Tears burned. You said so yourself. You brought me here to make me pay for my family's sins. To take from me what they took from you. That was before. Before what? Before you decided you wanted me. Her voice cracked. That doesn't change what you did. What this was. It changes everything. It changes nothing. The tears fell, hot, humiliating, unstoppable. I'm still your prisoner. Last night was still about revenge, even if you dressed it up as choice. As fate. As something beautiful. Serena, please. You gave me an illusion of choice. I was always trapped. Always yours. The only choice was whether I fought it or accepted it. She looked at him, really looked. And I hate that I accepted it. Hate that I wanted it. Hate that part of me still does. His face went white. I never meant. Didn't you? She wiped angrily at tears. Isn't this exactly what you wanted? Me broken, dependent, yours. I wanted, he stopped. Started again. I wanted you willing. Not broken. Same thing when the cage is gilded enough. He stared at his hands like seeing them for the first time. Hands that had touched her with reverence last night. Hands that had locked doors and signed papers that made her his. Dio mio, he whispered. What have I done? The devastation in his voice should have satisfied her. It didn't. You did what you intended, she said flatly. You took revenge. No. He gripped her shoulders. Last night wasn't revenge. It was. What? Love. She laughed bitterly. You don't love me. You own me. There's a difference. He stopped. Released her. Stepped back like she'd struck him. For a long moment, silence stretched taut. Then quietly destroyed. You're right. She blinked. What? You're right. He moved to the window, shoulders bowed. I took you captive. Gave you illusions of choice while controlling everything. Last night. His voice cracked. Last night I took something precious and I can't give it back. No, you can't. I thought. He turned and his face was devastated. I thought if you chose it, it would be different. Clean. But there's no such thing as clean choice in captivity. Tears streamed down her face. Then what was it? Exactly what you said. His smile was broken, beautiful. Revenge that I convinced us both was something else. She curled into herself, sobbing. After a moment she felt him sit carefully on the bed's edge. Not touching. Just near. I'm sorry, he whispered. You said that already. I'll say it every day for the rest of my life if that's what it takes. His hand hovered near hers. Serena, I can't undo it. Can't give back what I took. But I can give you freedom. She looked up, eyes swollen. What? He stood, moved to his desk, pulled out papers. Your gallery. I'm transferring ownership back to you, free and clear. More papers. Bank accounts. I'm depositing enough to cover 5 years of expenses, more if you're careful. Keys. An apartment in Rome. Yours. Deed in your name. Her heart stuttered. I don't understand. You're free. His hands shook as he offered everything. The doors are unlocked. Guards gone. You can leave right now and I'll never contact you again. His voice broke. I'll never take anything from you again. Why? Because I was wrong. Tears glittered in those dark eyes. About revenge. About justice. About you. His voice dropped to a whisper. About everything. She stared at the papers, her life, her freedom, her choice finally real. And if I leave? He sank to his knees before her, this powerful man kneeling, utterly destroyed. Then I'll know I became the monster my mother died trying to save me from. His hands fisted on his thighs. I'll know I destroyed the only truly good thing I ever touched. A tear escaped, tracked down his cheek. And I'll spend every remaining day knowing I took something beautiful and broke it because I was too damaged to see what I had until it was gone. Serena's breath caught. This wasn't manipulation. Wasn't strategy. This was a man confronting what he'd become. I need time, she whispered. Hope flickered across his ravaged face. How much? I don't know. He stood slowly, not touching though she saw the effort it cost. Take all the time you need. He pressed the papers into her hands. But Serena? He caught her hand gently, pressed it against his thundering heart. Know that whether you're here or across the world, whether you forgive me or hate me forever, this is yours. Completely. Irreversibly. She pulled away, clutching the papers. Freedom. Choice. Everything she'd wanted since arriving. At the door she paused. Your heart isn't enough payment for what you took. His smile was broken, knowing. I know. But it's all I have left to give. She left that afternoon. Walked out of Sebastiano D'Amico's villa with papers that proved her freedom and a heart that felt like shattered glass. The apartment he'd given her was in Trastevere. Cobblestone streets and ivy-covered buildings, the kind of neighborhood she'd dreamed of affording. Top floor. Terrace overlooking terracotta roofs. Sunlight that painted everything gold. Beautiful. Hers. Serena stood in the middle of the living room, surrounded by furniture she hadn't chosen but somehow fit her taste perfectly, and felt nothing. No triumph. No relief. Just hollow. Her phone, returned with her freedom, sat silent on the counter. No messages from her father or brother. They'd abandoned her completely. But one number she hadn't programmed kept appearing in recent calls. His. Checking she'd arrived safely, she realized. Making sure she had everything she needed. She deleted the calls without listening to voicemails. The gallery reopened a week later. Serena threw herself into work with desperate focus. New exhibits. Artist meetings. Anything to avoid thinking about dark eyes and broken confessions. Her assistant, Sophia, noticed immediately. You look different, she said carefully. I've been through a lot. The paper said your father fled the country. Something about fraud. Serena's hands stilled on the painting she was hanging. Something like that. Are you okay? Free but funded by her captor's guilt. Independent but living in his property. Whole but missing pieces she couldn't name. I'm fine, she lied. But fine tasted like ash. The flowers started appearing the next morning. White lilies on her doorstep. Her favorite. No card. No signature. Just flowers that smelled like memory and regret. He threw them away. The next day more appeared. And the next. After a week she stopped throwing them away. Started arranging them in the apartment that felt too empty without. Without what? Without him, her treacherous heart whispered. 2 weeks after leaving, the first anonymous donation appeared. 10,000 euros to the gallery's operating account. Note attached for the art. Not for you. You owe me nothing. His words. His careful distance. She should have been angry. Should have returned it. Instead, she used it to fund an emerging artist's first show. Exactly what the gallery needed. More donations followed. Always anonymous. Always with the same note. He was supporting her dream while respecting her boundaries. It made hating him impossible. It made forgetting him worse. 3 weeks after leaving, Serena found herself outside his estate at midnight. She told herself she was just walking. That her feet chose the direction randomly. Lies she didn't believe. The gates opened before she could ring. Like he'd been waiting. Like he'd known she'd come. Sebastiano stood on the steps and her heart stopped. He looked thinner. Shadows under his eyes. Hair disheveled. Still devastating but haunted. Serena. Just her name. Reverent. aching. She walked toward him, stopping at arm's length. I hate you, she whispered. I know. You broke me. I know. I should never forgive you. I know. His voice cracked. So why are you here? I don't know. The honesty hurt. I left. I'm free. I have everything I wanted. But I can't stop thinking about you. Tears burned. Can't stop seeing you on your knees. Can't stop feeling like I left part of myself in your bed. His hand rose slowly, trembling, cupping her face with devastating gentleness. I'm sorry, he whispered. For all of it. For taking you. For hurting you. For making you feel like you had to choose between captivity and loneliness. Then why do I miss the captivity? Because broken things recognize each other. His thumb caught her tear. And sometimes the person who shattered you is the only one who knows how all the pieces fit. That's not love. No. He leaned his forehead against hers. It's something darker. Messier. His breath ghosted over her lips. It's everything I never wanted and everything I can't survive without. He kissed him then. Angry. Desperate. Coming home and falling apart simultaneously. He kissed back like a man starving, hands gentle despite the need trembling through him. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, she whispered, I'm not staying. His smile was sad knowing. Liar. Sebastiano. You came back because you feel it too. This thing between us that doesn't have a name. He kissed her softly. Fate. Destiny. Damage recognizing damage. What if it's just Stockholm Syndrome? Then why did you leave? His hands framed her face. Why did you take your freedom and still feel trapped? Why are you here at midnight when you could be anywhere else? Because you're inevitable. Because I'm terrified of how much I want this. Because broken doesn't feel broken when you're near. Take me inside, she whispered against his neck. He lifted her easily, carried her across the threshold. This time when he laid her down in his bed, when he whispered her name and erased the space between them, it wasn't revenge. It was recognition. It was two shattered people finding that their pieces fit together in ways that made sense only to them. It was the beginning of something that would either save them both or destroy them completely. And neither of them cared which. Morning came with regret and clarity in equal measure. Serena woke in his arms, sunlight painting them gold, and made a decision. I'm leaving, she said quietly. His arms tightened. Again. I need to know if this is real or just trauma bonding. She turned to face him. I need space to figure out who I am without you controlling everything. Pain flickered across his face. How much space? I don't know. A month. Maybe more. And if I ask you to stay? Then you prove you haven't changed. He released her immediately. Sat up, ran hands through his hair. You're right. His voice was rough. You need to choose me freely, not because I've engineered circumstances that make me the only option. She blinked, surprised. What? He smiled sadly. You think I don't know what I did? How I built a beautiful cage and called it choice. He cupped her face. Take your time. Take your space. Figure out who you are without me. And you. I'll be here. He kissed her forehead. Waiting. Hoping. Proving that I can give you freedom even when it kills me. She left that morning. Returned to her apartment. Her gallery. Her life. But something had shifted. The hollow feeling remained, but now she understood it. It wasn't emptiness. It was space he'd occupied that she didn't know how to fill. Days blurred into weeks. Serena rebuilt her life with deliberate focus. New artists. Community outreach. Teaching classes to underprivileged kids. Creating a purpose beyond being someone's daughter. Someone's prisoner. Someone's obsession. Becoming herself. The flowers continued. Always white lilies. Always on her doorstep. The donations kept coming. Supporting her vision without demanding acknowledgement. And twice she saw him from a distance. Once at a cafe where she was meeting an artist. He sat outside, espresso untouched, watching her through the window. When their eyes met, he didn't smile. Didn't wave. Just placed money on the table and left. Giving her space even when it clearly cost him. Another time at the opera. She'd gone alone, needing beauty and music. Intermission came and she saw him in a private box. Not alone. Isabella, the woman from the gala, hung on his arm laughing at something he'd said. Jealousy hit like a physical blow. She left before the second act. Told herself she didn't care. That he deserved to move on. That the sick feeling in her stomach meant nothing. A month after leaving, Marco appeared at her gallery. Signorina Lombardi. He removed his hat respectfully. May I speak with you? Fear spiked. Is he okay? Physically, yes. Marco's expression was grave. Emotionally, he's destroying himself. That's not my responsibility. Isn't it? Marco stepped closer. I've worked for Sebastiano for 12 years. Seen him build an empire. Make impossible decisions. Face enemies without flinching. His voice dropped. I've never seen him break until you left. He broke me first. I know. And he knows. But Signorina, he's not eating. Barely sleeping. Working himself to death like punishment. Marco pulled out his phone, showed her a photo. Sebastiano at his desk. Gaunt. Exhausted. Haunted. Her heart clenched. He won't see doctors. Won't take meetings. Just works and stares at his phone like waiting for a call that won't come. Marco looked at her with quiet desperation. I'm not asking you to forgive him. But could you at least see him? Let him know you're real and not just guilt made manifest. Why would he think that? Because he doesn't believe he deserves happiness. Thinks you were a dream he ruined. Marco's voice gentled. And maybe you were. But dreams don't send men to their knees begging for forgiveness. She went that evening. Told herself it was closure. One final conversation to end things properly. Lies that felt necessary. The villa looked the same but felt different. Quieter. Darker. Lucia met her at the door, relief flooding her features. Thank God. He won't listen to anyone. Where is he? His study. He's been there for 3 days. Serena climbed stairs that felt simultaneously familiar and foreign. Knocked on the study door. Silence. She opened it anyway. Sebastiano stood at the window, back to her, shoulders rigid. He'd lost weight. Hair longer, unkempt. Still wearing the same shirt from days ago. I told you I don't want dinner, Lucia. It's not Lucia. He spun, eyes wide. Serena. She closed the door behind her. You look terrible. A ghost of a smile. You look beautiful. Don't. Can't help it. It's true. He didn't approach. Just stood there, drinking her in like a man dying of thirst. Why are you here? Marco said you're destroying yourself. Marco worries too much. Are you? Destroying yourself. He turned back to the window. Would you care if I was? I don't know. Honesty felt like the only currency worth trading. But I needed to see for myself. Well, now you have. I'm alive. Functional. You can leave with a clear conscience. The bitterness in his voice cut deeper than it should. Is that what you want? For me to leave? I want. He stopped. Started again. I want you happy. Even if happiness doesn't include me. Liar. He laughed. Broken, bitter. Fine. I want you here. In my bed. In my life. In every moment from now until I die. He turned and his face was ravaged. I want to wake up to you every morning and fall asleep with you every night. I want to fight with you and make up with you and build something real instead of this. He gestured between them. This thing where we hurt each other and call it fate. Tears burned her eyes. You can't just want that. You have to earn it. I know. He moved closer slowly. So tell me how. Tell me what I need to do to prove I've changed. That I see you as a person, not property. As a partner, not a prisoner. I don't know if you can. Then let me try. He sank to his knees. Again, always, this powerful man making himself small. Let me spend every day proving that what I feel is real. That I'm not the monster who took you but the man who wants to deserve you. Sebastiano. I love you. The words exploded from him. Bro. I love you and I don't deserve to, and you don't have to say it back, but you need to know. Everything I did, bringing you here, giving you freedom, the flowers, the donations, staying away when it killed me, all of it was me trying to show you that you changed me. She stood frozen, tears streaming. I don't need grand gestures, she whispered. I need to know you see me as equal. Not something to protect or possess. I do. He looked up, eyes bright with unshed tears. You're stronger than me. Braver. You walked into freedom when I only knew how to build cages. You forgave when I only knew revenge. His voice cracked. You're everything I'm not and I love you for it. Love isn't enough. I know. So let me prove the rest. He stood, not touching though she saw the restraint it cost. Come back. Not as my prisoner. Not as my penance. As my partner. And if I say no? Then I'll respect it. I'll stop the flowers. Stop the donations. Let you build a life without me haunting the edges. His smile was broken, beautiful. But I'll never stop loving you. Never stop hoping that someday you'll see me as more than the man who broke you. The room felt too small for the emotion between them. I need guarantees, she managed. Name them. Freedom. Real freedom. I come and go as I please. No guards. No tracking. No possession. Done. Partnership. Your empire, your business. I'm involved in decisions that affect us both. No more secrets. Yes. And counseling. Real therapy for both of us. Because whatever this is between us, it's not healthy yet. Maybe it can be, but not without work. He blinked. You want couples therapy? I want us to learn how to be together without trauma being the foundation. Something like wonder crossed his face. Us. You said us. Conditional us. Probationary us. She stepped closer. Us that requires you to prove every day that you've changed. I'll prove it. He caught her hands, gentle, asking permission. Every moment. Every breath. I'll show you that loving you means freeing you even when you choose to stay. And if I choose to leave again? Pain flickered, but he didn't hesitate. Then I'll let you. And hope you choose to come back. She studied him, this man who'd been monster and savior, captor and confessor, breaker and broken. This man who'd destroyed her and somehow in the destruction, shown her what she could become. I'm not moving back in, she said finally. His face fell. Serena. Not yet. We date. Real dating. You pick me up at my apartment. We go to dinner. Movies. Normal things. She touched his face. You earn me properly this time. I can do that. Relief flooded his features. I'll court you like you deserve. And if it doesn't work? Then at least we tried without cages. He leaned into her touch. At least we gave us a real chance. She kissed him then, soft, tentative, a beginning instead of an ending. When they parted, both were crying. This is crazy, she whispered. Completely. He smiled against her lips. But we're both crazy, so maybe it balances. That's not how mental health works. Then we'll learn together. Their first real date was the following week. Sebastiano arrived at her apartment at 7 sharp, holding flowers, not white lilies but pink roses. New beginnings, he explained. He wore jeans. And a simple black shirt that made him look less Mafia king and more dangerously handsome man. You clean up nice, she said. You're stunning. His eyes traveled over her yellow sundress. But you already knew that. He took her to a small trattoria in Testaccio. No private rooms, no security detail visible, just them and 20 other couples having dinner. Normal. Terrifying and wonderful in equal measure. They talked about everything except the past. Her dreams for the gallery. His desire to legitimize more of the family business. Books they loved. Music that moved them. And slowly, bite by bite, word by word, they built something new. Something that looked almost like normal. Weeks passed. They dated. Real dates. Movies where he let her pick the film. Walks where he held her hand without possessing. Dinners where they argued about art and politics and whether pineapple belonged on pizza. He came to her gallery openings. Stood in the back, proudly watching her command the room. She attended his business dinners. Met his family, Matteo, who studied her with wary eyes before grudgingly accepting her. He's different with you, Matteo said quietly one evening. Softer. Is that bad? It's terrifying. Matteo smiled. But maybe what he needs. The therapy was hard. Sitting in an office facing a professional who didn't judge but asked impossible questions. Sebastiano, what made you feel entitled to take Serena's freedom? Serena, why did you return to someone who hurt you? Both of you, what does healthy love look like if this is your foundation? They fought. Cried. Walked out of sessions furious. But they came back. Every week. Every difficult conversation. Building something real from ruins. 2 months into dating, Sebastiano took her to the opera. The same opera where she'd seen him with Isabella. She stiffened when they entered. "What's wrong?" he asked immediately. "Last time I was here you were with someone else." Understanding flooded his face. "Isabella. You saw that?" "Yes." "And you left?" "Yes." He stopped in the corridor, cupped her face. "That was a business obligation. Her father needed to be reminded of certain agreements." "She means nothing." "You don't have to explain." "Yes, I do." His thumb stroked her cheek. "Because you're it for me. The only one. The only one I want in my box, in my bed, in my life." He kissed her softly. "The only one I love." Her breath caught. He'd said it before, but hearing it here, public, certain, real, hit differently. "I love you too," she whispered. His eyes closed like she'd granted absolution. "Say it again." "I love you. Stronger now. Even though you're impossible and controlling and sometimes still forget I'm not property." He kissed her. Public. Flaming. When they parted, people were staring. He didn't care. Neither did he. 4 months into dating, danger found them. Serena was closing the gallery late when a car pulled up. 3 men emerged, not Sebastiano's. Wrong suits. Wrong energy. Fear crystallized as one approached. "Signorina Lombardi. You're coming with us." "I don't think so." She backed toward the gallery door. "Not a request. You're valuable to D'Amico. That makes you valuable to us. Rivals. Enemies. People who'd use her to hurt him." She ran. Got 3 steps before arms caught her, hand over her mouth. A gunshot cracked the air. The arms released her. She spun to see Marco and 2 guards, weapons drawn. "Inside. Now." Marco's voice was pure command. She didn't argue. Sebastiano arrived minutes later, face white with terror. He burst through the gallery door, saw her unharmed and crossed the space in 3 strides. Pulled her into his arms so tightly she could barely breathe. "You're okay. Tell me you're okay." "I'm fine. Marco. I know. I sent him to watch over you." He pulled back, hands frantically checking for injuries. "Did they touch you? Hurt you?" "No. They wanted to take me. To use against me." Fury and fear warred in his expression. "This is my fault. My enemies. My world. Sebastiano. You're not safe. Not while you're with me." He stepped back. "I need to end this." "End what?" "This. For your protection. Don't you dare." She gripped his shirt. "Don't you dare use protecting me as an excuse to push me away. This isn't an excuse. They came for you because of me. And I'm still here." She shook him. "Still choosing you despite the danger. Despite everything. You shouldn't. But I do." She pulled him down until their foreheads touched. "I choose you. The Empire. The danger. All of it. You could die. I could also live. Really live. With you." She kissed him fiercely. "Stop trying to save me from my own choices." He crushed her against him, burying his face in her hair. "I can't lose you. Then don't let me go." That night changed everything. Sebastiano didn't ask. Didn't suggest. Simply said, "Move in with me. Let me protect you properly." And she, knowing it was crazy, knowing the risks, said yes. Because loving him meant accepting his world. And his world came with guards and danger and men who'd use her as leverage. But it also came with him. With morning coffee and midnight poetry. With hands that held her like she was precious. With a man who'd been monster and become human for her. That felt worth the risk. Moving in was surreal. Her things in his space. Her art on his walls. Her toothbrush next to his. Domestic in ways that should have felt wrong but didn't. "This is strange," she said one morning, watching him make breakfast. "Bad strange. Different strange." She accepted the coffee he offered. "You cooking for me. A sharing space. Normal. Is normal bad? It's terrifying." She smiled. "I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop." He set down his spatula, pulled her close. "The other shoe is this: I love you. I want you here. I want to build a life where guards and danger are precautions, not lifestyle." He kissed her forehead. "I want normal with you, Bella. However we can build it." "What about your enemies? Being handled?" His voice hardened. "The men who came for you. They're learning what happens when someone threatens what's mine." "Sebastiano." "Not threats. Consequences. He cupped her face. I won't apologize for protecting you. I'm not asking you to. I'm asking you not to become the monster again. He studied her for a long moment. You think I could? Even now. I think you're capable of anything when someone you love is threatened. You're right. He kissed her softly. Which is why I need you to keep me human. Keep reminding me that some lines can't be uncrossed. What if I can't? Then we'll fail together. He smiled sadly. But at least we tried. 6 months into living together, Sebastiano proposed. Not romantically. Not with planning. Just blurted it out over breakfast like he couldn't hold it in anymore. Marry me. Serena choked on her coffee. What? Marry me. He set down his espresso cup with shaking hands. I know it's fast. I know we're still figuring things out. But I want forever with you. Want to make this legal and real and permanent. We're already living together. It's not enough. He moved around the table, knelt beside her chair, his favorite position she'd learned. I want you to be my wife. Want everyone to know you chose me. Want to choose you every day for the rest of my life. Tears pricked her eyes. This is insane. I know. We've only been dating 6 months. I know. Your family will think I'm after your money. I don't care. He caught her hands. Say yes. Say you'll marry the man who broke you and spent every day since trying to earn you back. What if we fail? Then we fail married. He smiled. But I don't think we will. I think we're both too stubborn to let this beautiful, damaged thing we've built fall apart. She looked at him, this impossible man who'd been her captor and confessor, her destroyer and devotee. This man she'd hated and loved and chosen despite every logical reason not to. Yes, she whispered. His eyes widened. Yes. Yes, I'll marry you. She pulled him up, kissed him thoroughly. But I want a long engagement. Time to be sure this is real and not just trauma bonding dressed as love. How long? A year. He winced but nodded. A year. I can do a year. And couples therapy continues. Obviously. And I keep my gallery. My independence. My life outside of being your wife. I wouldn't want you any other way. He slid a ring onto her finger. Emerald-cut diamond, elegant, perfect. When did you get this? 3 months ago. He grinned. I've been carrying it everywhere, waiting for the right moment. This was the right moment? Breakfast. Every moment with you is right. He kissed her again. But yes. Breakfast proposal. Very romantic. He laughed, real full free. And in that moment, surrounded by morning light and coffee cups and this man who'd learned to love her properly, she felt something she hadn't in months. Hope. The year of engagement was everything and nothing like she expected. They fought. God, they fought. About his overprotectiveness. Her independence. His need to control. Her need for freedom. But they also learned. How to fight fair. How to apologize. How to choose each other even when it was hard. Therapy helped. Dr. Russo didn't pull punches. Sebastiano, you're still trying to protect her from consequences. That's control dressed as care. Serena, you're punishing him for past mistakes instead of addressing present problems. That's not healthy communication. They worked. God, they worked. And slowly the relationship transformed. From damage to healing. From trauma bond to genuine partnership. From 2 broken people clinging to each other to 2 people choosing wholeness together. The wedding was small. Immediate family only. In the villa's garden where white roses bloomed like promises. Serena wore simple ivory silk. Sebastiano wore a tuxedo that made him look like a prince from old movies. When she walked down the aisle, alone because her father had forfeited that right, Sebastiano cried. Unashamed. You're stunning, he whispered when she reached him. You're crying. Because I never thought I'd deserve this. The ceremony was traditional. Vows that promised forever. When the priest said, "You may kiss your bride," Sebastiano cupped her face with reverent hands. "I love you," he murmured against her lips. "My wife. My partner. My redemption." "I love you," she whispered back. "My husband. My choice. My home." The kiss was soft. Sweet. Everything their beginning hadn't been. Everything their future would be. The reception surprised her. Not just family, half of Rome's art community. Gallery owners. Artists. Critics. You invited them? She asked, stunned. Of course. Sebastiano pulled her close. Your world is my world now. Your dreams are mine to support. One artist approached. Young, talented, struggling. Signora D'Amico, I heard you're accepting new artists? Signora D'Amico. Her new name. Her new life. I am, she said, and felt Sebastiano's pride radiate. He spent the evening watching her command the room. Network. Build. Thrive. His world of power and hers of art merging. You're staring, she said when they finally got a moment alone. Can't help it. You're magnificent. He spun her on the dance floor. Look at you. Gallery owner. Tastemaker. My brilliant wife. Our brilliant partnership, she corrected. Yes. He kissed her temple. Ours. The honeymoon was 2 weeks in Positano. Cliffside villa. Ocean views. Privacy. They made love like newlyweds and talked like old friends and built a future and whispered plans and shared dreams. I want to expand the gallery, she said one evening, watching sunset paint the sea crimson. Then expand it. He traced patterns on her bare shoulder. Whatever you want. And I want to teach. Kids from rough backgrounds. Show them art can be escape and expression. Beautiful. He kissed her shoulder. I'll fund it. I'll fund it. With gallery profits. He smiled. Independent to the end. Always. Good. He pulled her closer. I love that about you. That you don't need me but choose me anyway. I do need you, she admitted quietly. Just not the way I did. Not as savior or captor. As partner. That's all I want to be. They sat in comfortable silence, ocean breeze carrying salt and promise. Sebastiano. Thank you. He turned her to face him. For what? For changing. For letting me change you. She touched his face. For proving that broken things can become beautiful if you're willing to do the work. His eyes shone with unshed tears. You're the beautiful one, Bella. I'm just the bastard lucky enough to keep you. We're both lucky. She kissed him softly. And both beautiful. And both working every day to deserve this. Every day, he agreed. For the rest of our lives. 6 months into marriage, Serena found out she was pregnant. She stared at the test, hands shaking, mind reeling. Baby. Their baby. Proof that what they'd built was real and permanent and creating life instead of destroying it. She found Sebastiano in his study, working late as usual. Got a minute? He looked up, smiled. For you. Always. She handed him the test without preamble. He stared at it. Blinked. Stared again. Are you? Yes. The test fell from his hands as he stood, crossed to her, dropped to his knees. Always kneeling. Always humbling himself before her. He pressed his face to her still flat stomach, arms wrapping around her hips. A baby, he whispered. We made a baby. We did. She ran fingers through his hair. Are you happy? He looked up, face wet with tears. Happy doesn't begin to cover it. He stood, pulled her into his arms. Terrified. Grateful. Overwhelmed. He kissed her deeply. But yes. So fucking happy. Language. There's a baby now. He laughed. Pure joy. You're right. No more cursing. He placed a hand over her stomach. Just love. Just protection. Just everything good I can give both of you. Just partnership, she corrected gently. We're in this together. Together, he agreed. Always together. The pregnancy was easy until it wasn't. 7 months in, complications arose. Preeclampsia. Bed rest. Sebastiano became impossible. Guards tripled. Doctors on call. Every twinge monitored. You're suffocating me, she said one afternoon. You're carrying our child. I'm protecting you. You're controlling me. He froze. That word, controlling, still the worst thing she could call him. I'm sorry. He sat on the bed carefully. I'm terrified. Of losing you. Of losing the baby. Of everything I can't control. I know. But Sebastiano, I need you to trust me. Trust the doctors. Trust that some things are beyond even your power. He took her hand, pressed it to his chest where his heart thundered. Teach me how. Just breathe. Be present. Let me tell you what I need instead of deciding for me. He nodded slowly. I can do that. And he did. Step back. Listen. Supported instead of smothered. Proved again that he could change when she needed him to. Their daughter was born on a spring morning. 7 pounds. Perfect. Screaming her displeasure at the world. Sebastiano cut the cord with shaking hands, tears streaming down his face. She's perfect, he whispered. You're perfect. Serena, exhausted and elated, watched him hold their daughter with reverent terror. What should we name her? She asked. Whatever you want. Sophia. After my assistant. The one who kept the gallery running when my life fell apart. Sophia D'Amico. He tested the name, smiling. Perfect. He placed their daughter in Serena's arms, then sat on the bed beside them. His family, his redemption, his entire world contained in this moment. I love you, he whispered. Both of you. More than I knew was possible. We love you too. Serena leaned against him. Our beautiful, impossible man who learned how to be good. I'm not good. You're good enough. She kissed him softly. And that's all we need. The first months of parenthood were chaos. Sleepless nights. Endless diapers. A tiny human who demanded everything and gave only cries and occasional smiles in return. Sebastiano was surprisingly natural. He changed diapers without complaint. Walked Sophia for hours when she wouldn't sleep. Sang Italian lullabies in a voice rough with exhaustion and love. You're a natural, Serena observed one night watching him rock their daughter. I'm terrified I'll break her. You won't. How do you know? Because you spent a year learning not to break me. She moved beside him, looking down at Sophia's sleeping face. You know how to be gentle now. He kissed the top of their daughter's head. She's so small. So fragile. She's a D'Amico. She'll be strong. And a Lombardi. She'll be brilliant. And loved. Serena wrapped her arms around them both. So incredibly loved. When Sophia was 3 months old, danger returned. Not external this time. No. Serena found documents in Sebastiano's office. Shipping manifests for goods that didn't exist. Payments to offshore accounts. The same kind of fraud her father had committed. Her blood ran cold. She confronted him that night, papers shaking in her hands. What are these? He looked up from feeding Sophia, saw the documents, and his face went carefully blank. Where did you find those? Your office. I was looking for Sophia's birth certificate copy. She threw them on the table. Answer the question. What are they? He handed Sophia to the nanny who appeared at his signal, then turned to Serena with heavy eyes. Remnants. From before. Before what? Before you. Before I started legitimizing operations. He ran a hand through his hair. I've been cleaning up the family business. Some things take time. These are dated 2 months ago. Silence. Her heart broke. You're still doing it. Still lying. Still committing fraud. It's not that simple. Yes, it is. Tears burned. You promised. You said you were changing. But you're still the same man who built cages and called them kingdoms. Serena. I can't do this. She backed away. I can't raise our daughter in a house built on lies. It's not lies. It's transition. These are final operations being shut down. Do you hear yourself? Making excuses just like my father did. Her voice broke. I thought you were different. I am different. Prove it. She met his eyes. Right now. Call whoever you need to call and end it. All of it. Or I take Sophia and leave. The ultimatum hung between them, sharp and final. Sebastiano stared at her, face pale. You'd leave? After everything. After everything, I know my worth. She stood straighter. I know I deserve honesty. Partnership. A man who keeps his promises. Tears streamed down her face. I thought you were that man. Prove I'm not wrong. He looked at the documents. At her. At the doorway where their daughter slept. Then picked up his phone. Made 5 calls. Each one dismantling operations. Burning bridges. Choosing legitimacy over profit. When he finished, he looked hollowed out. Done. It's all done. Show me. He pulled up accounts on his computer. Showed her transfers. Closures. Legal documents. Everything ending. Everything legitimate. Satisfied. His voice was rough. No. She moved to him. Relieved. Grateful. But not satisfied. What more do you want? I want to know why you didn't do this sooner. Why you waited until I threatened to leave. He closed his eyes. Because part of me still needs the control. The power. The safety that comes from having leverage. That's not safety. That's fear. I know. He opened his eyes and they were devastated. I'm still learning. Still fighting instincts that say power equals protection. That control means security. He touched her face. But I'm trying. Every day I'm trying to be the man you deserve. I don't need perfect. He caught his hand. I need honest. I need a partner who tells me when he's struggling instead of hiding it. I was afraid you'd leave if you knew I was still tempted. I'm more likely to leave if you lie. She pulled him close. We promised to do this together. That means the ugly parts too. He held her tight, face buried in her hair. I'm sorry. For hiding it. For not trusting you with my failures. Don't do it again. I won't. He pulled back, meeting her eyes. From now on you see everything. All accounts. All operations. Full transparency. Good. She kissed him softly. Because I meant it. I'll leave if you betray my trust again. I know. His smile was sad knowing. And you should. You deserve better than broken promises. I deserve you trying every day to keep them. That I can do. True to his word, Sebastiano made her a full partner. Showed her every account. Every operation. Every decision. The business of running an empire laid bare. Some of it shocked her. The breadth of his reach. The money that flowed through channels she barely understood. But none of it was illegal. He'd actually done it. Gone legitimate. How much did you lose? She asked one evening, reviewing quarterly reports. 40% revenue. More in some sectors. She looked up shocked. That much? That much? He shrugged. Money will recover legally. It just takes time. You gave up millions for me. I gave up millions for us. For Sophia. For the life I want us to have. He pulled her into his lap. Money comes back. You don't. She kissed him deeply. I love you. I love you more. Not possible. Want to bet? He grinned. Because I'll spend every day proving you wrong. Sophia's first birthday was a celebration. Family. Friends. Half of Rome's art community and business elite mixing in gardens that had once been Serena's prison. Now they were her home. Strange how things changed. She watched Sebastiano with their daughter. Blowing bubbles, making her giggle, covered in cake and completely unbothered. This man who'd once been untouchable. Who'd ruled with iron control. Now reduced to happy chaos by a 1-year-old. He's good with her, Matteo observed, joining Serena. He is. You're good for him. Matteo smiled. I hated you at first. Thought you were like your father. A user. But you changed him. Made him human. He did that himself. No. Matteo shook his head. He wanted to. But you're the reason he actually did it. You made him believe he could be more than our father's legacy. What was your father like? Brilliant. Ruthless. Incapable of love. Matteo's voice softened. Everything Sebastiano was terrified of becoming. Everything you proved he's not. That night, after guests left and Sophia slept, Sebastiano found Serena in the garden. Same garden where she'd once stood at the gate choosing to stay. Remembering? He asked, joining her. Always. She leaned against him. This is where I chose you. Really chose you. Do you regret it? Every day. He felt him stiff and smiled. I regret that it took captivity to find you. That we started with pain instead of love. That we had to break before we could build. But I don't regret choosing you. Staying. Building this life. She turned to face him. I regret the how. Never the who. He cupped her face, eyes bright. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. You're the most complicated thing that ever happened to me. He laughed. Fair. But also the best. She kissed him softly. The most real. The most worth fighting for. I love you, Serena D'Amico. I love you, Sebastiano. My captor. My husband. By choice. Always your choice, he whispered against her lips. For the rest of our lives. 2 years later, Threats emerged from an unexpected source. Her father returned. Not in person, he wasn't that stupid. But through lawyers demanding access to his granddaughter. Sebastiano's fury was ice-cold and absolute. He abandoned you. Left you to face consequences he created. Now he wants access to Sofia. He's her grandfather, Serena said quietly. He's a coward and a criminal. I know. She looked at the legal documents. But Sofia might want to know him someday. Over my dead body. Sebastiano. She caught his face, made him look at her. This isn't your decision alone. She's my daughter too. He jerked back like she'd slapped him. You want to let him near her? I want to decide together what's best for her. Without anger clouding judgment. He used you. And you took me captive. People change. We proved that. Silence stretched, taut and dangerous. You're comparing me to him? His voice was deadly quiet. I'm saying we both know people can choose redemption. She stepped closer. I'm not saying let him near her now. I'm saying don't make this decision from rage. He stared at her for a long moment. Then slowly, carefully nodded. What do you want to do? I want to meet with him. Supervised. Hear what he has to say. She took his hand. And then we decide together. And if I say no? Then we talk about why. But you don't get to unilaterally decide. Not anymore. His jaw clenched. I hate when you're right. I know. She smiled. But you love me anyway. Unfortunately. The meeting happened a month later. Neutral location. Lawyers present. Sebastiano's guards outside. Giovanni Lombardi looked older. Grayer. Broken by exile and regret. Serena. Tears filled his eyes. You're so beautiful. So strong. No thanks to you. He flinched. I know. I know what I did was unforgivable. Then why are you here? Because I'm dying. He opened his jacket, showed medical documents. Pancreatic cancer. 6 months maybe. Serena's world tilted. She felt Sebastiano's hand find hers under the table. I'm sorry, she managed. Don't be. I deserve this. Giovanni looked at her with hollow eyes. But I wanted to see you. Tell you I'm sorry. Tell you that leaving you was the worst thing I ever did, and I've paid for it every day since. You want absolution. I want you to know I loved you. Even when I was too much a coward to prove it. Tears burned. You don't get to come back and play repentant father. I know. I'm not asking for that. He slid an envelope across the table. I returned the money. All of it. To D'Amico accounts. With interest. Sebastiano stiffened beside her. You think money fixes it? Serena's voice shook. No. But it's all I can give. Giovanni looked at Sebastiano. I know what you did. Taking her. Using her. His voice hardened. But I also know you changed. Married her. Gave her the life I should have protected. I don't need your approval, Sebastiano said coldly. No. But you have my gratitude. Giovanni's eyes returned to Serena. He became the man I never was. And you became stronger than I deserved. What do you want from me? Nothing. Just to say I'm sorry. And that if, when you have a daughter, tell her about me. Not the coward who left. The man I was before greed destroyed me. He stood slowly. That's all. I'll go now. Wait. The word escaped before Serena could stop it. He paused. She looked at Sebastiano. Saw conflict in his eyes but also trust. 6 months, she asked her father. If I'm lucky. Then spend them making amends. Real amends. Therapy. Restitution to everyone you hurt. She stood. Do that and maybe before you die I'll let you meet your granddaughter. Once. Supervised. Hope flared in his eyes. You mean it? I mean I'll consider it. If you prove you've changed. I will. I swear I will. After he left, Sebastiano pulled her close. Are you okay? No. She buried her face in his chest. But I will be. You don't have to forgive him. I know. But I have to try. For me. So I don't become bitter like he did. He kissed her head. You're a better person than I'll ever be. We're both broken people trying to be better. She looked up. Isn't that enough? With you. Always. Her father died 4 months later. True to his word, he'd spent that time making amends. Therapy. Restitution. Letters to everyone he'd hurt. Including Serena. She read them after he passed. Pages of apology and regret and love he'd never properly shown. It didn't erase the pain. But it helped. Sebastiano held her through the grief, never once saying, "I told you so," or pushing his own feelings about Giovanni. Just held her. Let her process. Supported without smothering. "Thank you," she whispered one night. "For what?" "For letting me have my own relationship with my father. Even though you hated him. I love you more than I hate him." He kissed her temple. "That has to mean something." "It means everything." Sofia turned 3. Smart. Willful. Beautiful. A perfect mix of them both. She had Serena's eyes and Sebastiano's stubborn determination. "She's going to be trouble," Lucia observed, watching the child demand her way. "She's a D'Amico," Sebastiano said proudly. "Trouble is our birthright." "And a Lombardi," Serena added. "So she'll be brilliant trouble." They stood together, watching their daughter command attention from everyone at her birthday party. "We made that," Sebastiano said, wonder in his voice. "We did. From revenge and captivity and 2 broken people who didn't know how to love properly. And therapy. Don't forget the therapy." He laughed, pulled her close. "Never. Dr. Russo deserves joint custody of our happiness." "Should we have another?" The question escaped before Serena could stop it. He looked at her, surprised. "You want another child?" "Maybe. Do you?" "I want everything with you." He turned her to face him. "Another child. 50 more years. Growing old and watching Sofia drive us crazy." He kissed her softly. "All of it. Even when I'm difficult?" "Especially then." "Even when you're controlling?" "You mean when I'm protective?" He grinned. "Controlling. Fine. Even then." He rested his forehead against hers. "Because difficult and controlling is who we are. And somehow it works." "Somehow," she agreed. Their second child, a boy they named Matteo, arrived 2 years later. Easier pregnancy. Easier birth. Easier baby. "He's too calm," Sebastiano worried. "Something's wrong." "He's fine. Just different from Sofia." She screamed for 6 months straight. "And he's peaceful. Be grateful." But Sebastiano couldn't help hovering. Checking. Protecting. Some things Serena had learned never fully changed. Her husband would always be overprotective. Controlling when stressed. Needing to secure safety through action. But he'd also learned to listen when she called him on it. Learned to step back when she needed space. Learned that protecting didn't mean possessing. "You're doing it again," she said one night, finding him watching the baby monitor for the 3rd time. "He hasn't moved in 20 minutes. He's sleeping. Like babies do." "But what if?" "Sebastiano." He took the monitor, set it aside. "He's fine. We're fine. Everything's fine." He pulled her close, tension slowly bleeding out. "I know. I know." She kissed him. "But you have to trust that not everything needs your protection. Old habits. Work on them." "I am." He smiled against her hair. "Every day. For you. For them. For us. That's all I ask." 10 years after their wedding, Serena opened her second gallery. Not in Rome, in Milan. Focused entirely on emerging artists from disadvantaged backgrounds. The project she'd dreamed about on their honeymoon finally realized. Sebastiano funded the building but let her run everything else. "How's it feel?" he asked at the opening. "Terrifying. Exciting. Right." She surveyed the crowd. Artists whose work deserved recognition, collectors willing to take chances. "Like I'm exactly where I'm meant to be." "You are." He kissed her temple. "Building dreams. Changing lives. Being magnificent." "Our magnificent partnership," she corrected. "Yes." He pulled her close. "Always ours." Sofia turned 13. Rebellious. Brilliant. Testing every boundary. "She's exactly like you," Serena told Sebastiano after another argument about curfew. "She's exactly like you. Stubborn. Independent. Refusing to be controlled." "I wonder where she learned that." He smiled ruefully. "From watching you put me in my place for 13 years. Someone had to. And I'm grateful every day that you did. They stood at Sophia's doorway, watching her pretend to study while clearly texting friends. We did okay, Sebastiano said quietly. Didn't we? We did better than okay. Serena leaned against him. We built something real from ruins. You built it. I just stopped tearing things down long enough to help. We built it together. She turned to face him. The good, the bad, the complicated. All of it. He cupped her face, eyes soft. I love you. More now than the day I married you. That's impossible. You cried at our wedding. And I'd cry again. He kissed her softly. Because you're still the most beautiful, infuriating, perfect thing that ever happened to me. I'm not perfect. No. But you're perfectly mine. And you're perfectly impossible. Yes. He grinned. But you love me anyway. Unfortunately. He kissed her again. Deeper, pulling her close like he had 1,000 times before and would 1,000 times more. From down the hall, Sophia's voice. Gross. Get a room. They broke apart, laughing. We have a room, Sebastiano called back. Then use it. Serena buried her face in his chest, shoulders shaking with laughter. She's definitely yours, Sebastiano said. She's definitely ours. Serena looked up at him. Everything good we made together. Everything, he agreed. 15 years after the beginning. Serena stood in the villa's garden, same spot where she'd once chosen to stay. 15 years since that night. 15 years of marriage, children, struggle and triumph. Sebastiano found her there like he always did. Remembering, he asked. Always. She turned to him, gray in his hair now, lines around his eyes, still the most handsome man she'd ever seen. Thinking about how far we've come. From revenge to this. He gestured at the house where their children slept, the gardens they'd expanded, the life they'd built. Seems impossible. It was impossible. We just refused to accept that. He pulled her close and they swayed to music only they could hear. Do you regret it? He asked. Any of it? The beginning? Yes. The middle? Sometimes. She looked up at him. The ending? Never. It's not over yet. No. But this part, she touched his face. This part where we're happy and whole and building something lasting? This is the ending I choose. I love you, Serena D'Amico. I love you, Sebastiano. My captor who became my partner. My destroyer who became my home. Always your home, he whispered. For the rest of our lives. They stood there wrapped in each other as Rome glittered below. Two broken people who'd learned to be whole together. Two enemies who'd become soulmates. Two prisoners of their own making who'd found freedom in choosing each other. And again. And again. Every day for the rest of their lives. 20 years later. Sofia D'Amico stood at her mother's gallery, preparing for her first solo show. 23. Graduated top of her class. Artist in her own right. Her parents arrived fashionably late, still holding hands after 35 years of marriage, still looking at each other like the world began and ended in each other's eyes. Nervous? Her mother asked. Terrified. Good. Her father kissed her forehead. Terror means you care. Did you feel this way at your first show? Sofia asked her mother. I felt terrified I'd fail. That I'd proven my father right about being useless. Serena squeezed her hand. But I had people who believed in me. Just like you do. Sofia looked around, the gallery packed with supporters, collectors, family. Her brother Matteo, now 18 and heading to university. Her uncle Matteo and his family. Lucia, retired but still attending every major family event. Marco, older but still loyal. And her parents, the most complicated, beautiful love story she'd ever witnessed. How did you do it? She asked them. Stay together despite everything? Her parents exchanged glances. We chose each other, her mother said simply. Every day. Even when it was hard. Especially when it was hard, her father added. And we learned that love isn't about perfection. It's about commitment to growing together. Even when you started as enemies? Her father smiled, soft, genuine, everything Sofia had known her whole life. Especially because we started as enemies. We knew the worst of each other and chose to build the best. Her mother leaned against him. We're still building. Every day. Sofia watched them, gray-haired, lined with age, still completely in love. I want that, she said quietly. What you have. Then find someone who challenges you, her mother said. Who sees your darkness and doesn't run. Find someone you can't live without, her father added. Even when you wish you could. They laughed, private joke, shared history. And Sophia understood. Love wasn't easy. But it was worth fighting for. Worth choosing again and again. Worth building from ruins into something beautiful. Just like her parents had proven. Every single day. For the rest of their lives. The end. Their love began in revenge, was forged in forgiveness, and endured through choice. Some stories don't have perfect beginnings. But the endings? Those they write together.